Hello, hi everyone. How are you doing today? I hope everybody had a great 4th of July and you got to get outside and enjoy a little bit of the weather. Today I'm coming to you just me. And our lesson today is going to be on some communication. So our lesson today is going to give you a little bit of an opportunity to learn more about effective communication. It's going to help with your interactions with other people and also help to improve your communication skills. Sometimes people think that communication is more of a chore. It's something that you need to kind of cross off a to-do list, while others make you forget that you're not even having any fun with your family, but while you're actually communicating with your family and with your friends, you're actually working on your communication skills. But no matter how you feel about communication, they both have one thing in common. Communication. It will help you become a better, more effective, and more positive communicator with all of those people who need you the most. So, what's the deal with communication anyway? Is communication really that important or really that impactful? Do we really need to work on communicating when it seems like we're pretty good at it already? A lot of us are able to talk to our friends and talk to other people, but do we really need to work on communication? The answer is a really big yes. Communication is giving information from one place to another, and in our relationships with others, it helps to allow you to explain to somebody else what you're experiencing and what your needs and your wants are. When we have good communication, we feel good about ourselves and we feel good about our relationships with other people, including our family, our friends, our coworkers, anyone that we have interactions with. Besides making our relationships easier, there are also a lot of really good benefits to good communication. Number one, effective communication shows respect and value to another person. When we're able to communicate with somebody in a positive way and, as we use the word many times, effective way, it does show a lot of respect to the person that we are communicating with and we are talking with. It also helps us to better understand each other. Do you ever feel like when you're talking to somebody or having a conversation with another person, you feel like maybe they're not understanding what you're trying to say or what you're trying to ask, or maybe you're having a hard time understanding what they're trying to ask of you or what they're trying to tell you, and there's a little bit of frustration in trying to understand each other and what each person in that conversation wants. And lastly, it really makes us feel more comfortable with each other, and it really helps us to encourage an even more healthy and more effective communication with ourselves and with other people. So, the big question, how do we develop better communication skills? How can we do that? All it takes to develop better communication skills is that commitment to do so. If you want to help and you want to work on those communication skills, it just takes a little bit of a commitment and a little bit of effort. We have to put in a little bit of effort if we want to make sure that we can better our communication. So, I have a few tips for you. These tips are going to help guide you towards better communication. Okay, so let's start with them. The first one. Set aside some time to talk without any interruptions from other people or distractions. Distractions like our phone, computers, or television, radio, music. Just set aside a little bit of time to practice, to talk without any kind of interruptions. If any of you know me very well, I'm always talking to myself. Practice talking. Talk to yourself, making sure that you maybe use a mirror or just are practicing how you can get out information in a very effective way. Another tip, really think about what you want to say. Sometimes we maybe are excited and we'll just say something really fast and it doesn't always come out right. And then we have to try to think about it. Well, did that make sense? Did somebody understand what I was trying to say? And then you may have to rethink it and repeat it. So really think about what you want to say. If you know what you want to say and what you're trying to say to somebody, that comes out in more effective communication. Another tip, to be clear about what you want to communicate. If you know what you want, what you need, or what you're going to ask, that will help. You know exactly what you're wanting and what you're asking for before you communicate that to somebody else. Make sure your message is clear. This way, your partner hears it accurately and then they understand what you mean. There's lots of times when I'm trying to talk about something and I'm not very clear about what I'm trying to say, or maybe I don't even know how to say it. So if I really stop and use those other tips too, to think about what I want to say and make sure that what I'm asking is very clear. I'm not bringing in other pieces of information that doesn't need to be in that conversation, just clear. Another word is concise, so very specific information, and making that message very clear to what I want, what I'm asking, or what I need. Make sure you talk about what is happening and how it is affecting you. Our communication does affect our emotions, so if you have a thought or are feeling a different way about something, express that in what you're talking about. Tell how it affects you and how you're feeling. Talk about what you want, what you need, and what you feel. Wants and needs are very important. Feelings are very important. A good way to be able to talk about what you want, what you need, or what you feel is to use I statements, making sure that you're saying, I need, or I want, or I am asking, I feel. Use those I statements. When we use I statements, then the person that's listening or the person that we're communicating with can truly understand what we're feeling, because we are stating, I am wanting, or I feel, I need. And they know exactly what you're asking, or maybe what you're talking about and needing at that moment. And make sure you accept responsibility for your own feelings. This, I think, is kind of hard in a sense where maybe we are thinking about our feelings, but really owning up and understanding and accepting the responsibility for our own feelings. What you're feeling is okay. There's nothing wrong with how you feel, but being able to express that with good communication is key and very important. Listen to who you are communicating with. So if you're having a conversation with somebody, make sure as you are telling them your wants, your needs, your feelings, maybe using your I statements, make sure you're listening to what they're trying to communicate to you as well. You need to be what we call an active listener. Put aside what your thoughts are at that time. Really try to understand what they're trying to say to you, what their intentions are, or what they're thinking. Make sure you share positive feelings with who you're talking to. Make sure you tell them what you appreciate, what you admire, what is important to you about them. They need to understand that there's a positive interaction going on, no matter who you're communicating with. Keep those thoughts always very positive. Another big tip is to be aware of your tone. Thinking about how your tone of voice sounds. Are you really loud? Are you coming off sounding maybe more, as we use the term, sarcastic? What is your tone? Is it calming? Is it relaxing? Is it helpful to the situation that you're talking about and how you're trying to communicate that information? And negotiate, and remember that you don't have to be right all the time. You can just have a conversation. It doesn't have to be a right or a wrong. It's just communicating with another person. If the issue that you're having or that you're communicating about is not that important, sometimes you just need to let that issue go. If you've ever heard the phrase, just agree to disagree, we don't have to be the right person or the right man in every situation. So sometimes you just need to let an issue go. Agree to disagree is a phrase that many people use.